Welcome to Pathways. This is a feature from Power Through Partnership, the legacy magazine of the Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, TAPSEC. In each segment, you will hear from one of our region's young professionals. Each one of them started out as an intern, and now they help drive the transition forward as professionals in CARICOM's energy sector. This is the future of energy.
My name is Grace Williams. I am the Communications and Visibility Officer at the Technical Assistance Program for Sustainable Energy in the Caribbean, TAPSEC. Okay, well, technically I wasn't part of the Regional Energy Apprenticeship Program, although it's a great program. I came on as an intern for the TAPSEC program directly. But before that, I was a television producer at the Office of the President in Guyana. My friend, like an ad somewhere online, and sent it to me. She thought, oh, this would be a good fit. And I sent in an application probably that afternoon. I had not heard of the TAPSEC program before, but just the general direction the government of Guyana was going in at the time. I had begun to hear buzz around renewable energy, renewables. So there were these buzzwords around, but not for TAPSEC specifically, but definitely sort of orienting myself subtly to the idea of renewables and working with that. Generally speaking, I didn't want it to be a situation where I was sort of just regurgitating information. And what I found very quickly at TAPSEC is that I began to have a vested interest in what was going on. And that's not something I can really say about the position I had before. It felt like, for the first time maybe, that this actually mattered and this would make a difference. Then I really started to focus on strategic communications, building strategies. How do we tell this story? How do we get this story in front of the people who need to hear it? And how do we tell it in a way that they can understand? Like, working with TAPSEC has been challenging in the best ways. It has never stopped challenging me. No day is like the day before, or there hasn't been a point where I can just relax and be like, oh, okay, I've done this 100 times before or whatever. It's like more and more opportunities to be stretched, more and more opportunities to learn the different branches. And I think that is the part of the internship that is going challenging in all the best ways. But I started during CARICOM Energy Month, so that was sort of a baptism by fire. And so very quickly had to become acclimated to what the goals were, working closely with CARICOM Energy, sort of figuring out all these institutions and how they work together to bring about this change, all the little interventions, all the initiatives, all the programs that are sort of going on right now in the Caribbean for renewable energy and climate resilience. It had to happen really, really quickly. We had the CARICOM Youth Forum for energy. That probably was maybe like 2 weeks after I had started. And I remember that being a highlight. And it was during this process that I also got to meet some of the other REAP interns proper. And they were hosting and they had all of these conversations. They had speakers come in. And I just thought it was exciting to be sort of working in the background of that and seeing all the young people who were invested. But to be offered a full-time position was beyond what I expected. I had no idea, but I was very excited to continue on. And I absolutely have no regrets. I was very excited to have the opportunity to continue on, because even though it's, this is obviously about energy and like climate resilience and everything, it also stretched me tremendously as a young communications professional. And I remember thinking, ooh, I'm in the hot seat now. Things got intense really quickly, I feel like. After the 6 months, I also had the opportunity to sit with Tioka and sort of like restructure how we do communications in TAPSEC. And that is not something I had been offered, like an opportunity I had been offered to actually affect how we do work before in my professional life. Never had that opportunity. So that also was a big shift. It's like, now I get to shape this how I think I want to shape it. And it's been like that ever since. So a really good professional shift. I was working as an intern with TAPSEC for 6 months. My internship was 6 months long, and it ended on, I think, a Friday. That same Friday afternoon, I signed the new contract as a full-time employee, and I started the next Monday. So there was no break in between, which I thought was really fun. Then, since the end of my internship, I've been working for TAPSEC for about a year now as a full-time employee. Yes, April 19th made a year, so about a year and 2 weeks. So I think it's really about people, man. But I just think it's different when you're sort of finding a way to make a need very accessible, affordable, to make it reliable. It hits, I don't know, for me, it hits a different string. Like it and that makes all the difference. Internship, I would say my goals haven't really changed. I think I do find it more urgent though to work in an industry where you have a vested interest in the work that's being done, and where people want to make a difference and people work hard at making that difference. That was really helpful. If you're transitioning into this, industry, learn as much as you can, and eventually it will stick, because I think, learning for communications is definitely different than, learning scientific things. Lean on the energy professionals though. They're energy professionals for a reason. Ask tons and tons of questions. But also, don't forget your creativity. Like, yes, this is science. Yes, these are engineers, but there's a creative element, and like that's where you belong as a communications professional. You can bring that creativity into this industry, and it works. It works really, really well. Once you get comfortable with that, I think you can actually see like how valuable creatives are in an industry like this. So I guess that would be my main point. Keep that creative energy, bring that to the table, because it's valuable and it works. So the generation of energy professionals coming up now, I know that they're going to do big things, because they've been so invested from such an early age, and they're so passionate about renewable energy and about CARICOM benefiting from renewable energy. The only thing I can say to them is that I absolutely look forward to hearing about them in the future. I 100% believe I will, because I have never in my life encountered young people who were so excited about the industry that they were going into.
You've just listened to Pathways, a feature from Power Through Partnership, the TAPSEC program's legacy magazine. Check out other stories like this and more at www.tapsec.org. Thanks for listening.